Hey guys, it's Steve here with part 4 of my Darth Vader Blender tutorial series. This one we will be doing the scratches, the texturing, meaning the materials, unwrapping, and scratches and bump. So should cover all that in this part, and should start coming together good. I think there'll be one more part after this, and that will be the rendering. So there should be 2 more parts, and this is the 4th part. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I think I'm gonna turn off my background images now, just because I don't need them. I can just uncheck background images and get rid of that. I'm seeing something kind of weird back there. Oh yes, a little split back here in my mesh. Let's quick fix that. Grab that and snap. Now, one thing I didn't do when I was modeling that you can go ahead and do is this seam here. It's not real noticeable, but I never did anything for the seam, and you could extrude it and just kind of scale both those in a little bit. Extrude and scale in a little bit, and just kind of looks a little bit better. Maybe pull it up a little bit along the Z, and pull this one down along the Z, just to kind of give a seam there where when realistically, then you can have the parts move apart like it does in real life. Cool. So let's get to the unwrapping then. That will be the first part. And because I'm not doing any sort of projection painting or anything that I'll need to go to Photoshop with, I'm not going to worry about doing it too well, which means we're going to do it the quick and dirty method. So I'm just going to split my window here and bring up my UV image editor. There we go. Open that up, and I'm going to go new image. Well, actually, we don't have to do that. What we can do is we can go to texture paint, and well, we have to do a UV unwrap first. Alright, getting ahead of myself. So let's just grab the basic mesh here, tab A to select everything, and go U, Smart UV Project, and we'll just leave them as default. And you can see we get a fairly decent unwrap for just doing some projection painting. Or texture painting, I don't know, however you want to call it. And then for the helmet, we're just going to grab it and go U, Unwrap. Alrighty. So, now we can basically take our helmet, go to texture paint. We'll do our helmet first. And you see you have pink material here. You need to add a paint slot. This will be the specular intensity. Specular hardness, I guess. Yeah, we'll just do that. And let's make this 2K. So we'll just do the little times there and 2, and take it to 2048. It's just a little shortcut. You could just type out 2048 if you wanted. And I'll leave my background. Well, I want to make my background white because I'll be painting black over it. So you want to make your background white. Okay, and you get that nice texture. You can open it up over here now. Material specular hardness. And basically what I'm going to do now is open up a texture. So we'll go down to texture, new, and if we switch over to our textures here now, you can see we have the brush selected. You want brush texture, and then go open, and here is one of the 2 scratches that I'll include in the description. Just grab it. I'm just going to open up that one first, the brighter one, and now you can basically let's first turn the viewport render down a little bit on it, so it goes a little faster. We can turn the render up. When we render it, we want it to be about 4, but the viewport can be smaller, something like 2. Okay, so back to texture painting on this mesh. Okay, texture painting. With the scratches selected, you can basically click and draw scratches right on to your mesh, and that will be where we have actual scratches then later on. So it's really cool. We're going to basically just paint in where we want our textures, and it will be mirrored as well because of course the mirror modifier is on, but that's fine. And so some of them you want to be bigger, like so. Just zoom out and click. It might take a little while if you're doing like the whole mesh in this case, but like a big texture map on that, it's a little low quality. Command Z that one. And then some you want to be more fine detail, like along here, and maybe even like a little more along here. So I'm just going to kind of pile in the scratches along the crevices a little bit, where you might also get like dirt So it could look like dirt as well. Kind of do that along the back there, making them different sizes by zooming in and out, giving it some variation by changing the angle. But it looks kind of cool, and really quick and easy. Let's just put a few more scratches along, like the forehead here, and across the back. That looks pretty nice. A little clean there. All right. Now let's try a different texture. Let's open up a new one. We could keep this open and create a new one. Let's just do that. Create a new one and then open it up. This will be the other one. Let me see which one it is. Yeah, the darker one here. And we can kind of paint some of these in. You can see that looks a little different, so add some variation. And if you want to change the intensity, Shift F. More intense is 1, nothing is 0. So we do that, and then F to change the overall size of your brush. So yeah, just a quick texture job, and you can see how quick and easy it is, and didn't have to do any complicated unwrapping or anything. So nice and easy. I like it that ways. All right, it's gonna take a second here. I guess I clicked on too big of an area, but there we go. And it looks good enough to me. Now, one thing you might want to do is a little bit on the inside. You can see where I've gotten there a little bit, but haven't really painted it thoroughly. Just kind of get a little bit back there on the inside too. Cool. And then, of course, like along the edges, it always looks better to have more scratches. And then you can switch back to your other brush here. Boom. If you wanted to do some more fine detail scratches. And if you wanted higher res scratches, you would have to, of course, create a higher than 2K image. I don't like that right there so much. All right. But that will do it. So I think that's enough scratches for now. You can see it over here. So I'm just going to go Image, Save As Image, and then we'll just save this out real quick. And save it as a PNG, that's fine. And now we have to do the face here, the other section. So this one, we go Object Mode. Actually, let's go Texture Paint. Add Paint Slot, Specular Hardness. Boom. And 2K. Well, we could even go 4K with this one, why not? So we'll times that by 2 again to go 4K. Times by 2, 4K. Alright, boom. So now we have, let me choose that new one we just made there. It's 01 because it's, we have 2 of them now. And we still have our brushes up, so we can just go ahead and paint on this one now as well. So very easy and very efficient way to put some on like little glasses. That's pretty cool looking. Very efficient way to get a lot of detail in. I'm going to turn the view down a little bit more just so it's even faster. Alright, put some scratches around anywhere you think they might work. And you can see this is a little higher quality now because, like I said, I turned up the turned it to 4K. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. And I might switch to the other texture again now and add some more variation. Put some of this in there. And feel free to experiment with any other textures you might find on the web to do your own sort of texturing with. But this is what I found worked pretty well. Oh, we get kind of a spot there where it's not texturing because of the UV unwrap. You might find that from time to time when you're doing just the Smart UV project that you have issues with something like that. So you could do a better unwrap job on that if you wanted, but I'm not going to worry about it because that won't even look too bad. It might just look like a ring on the pole in that case. But pile on a little bit more dirt and dust, and we'll call her good. Okay, maybe just a few more scratches now. A little more intense scratches, so we'll do a little more intense scratches. Boom. Whoops, that's not the right one. Command Z that. I want that brush. There we go. Yeah, just a few intense scratches. There we go. Alright, looks pretty good to me. Maybe a few along the edge here. Something like that. Might look sweet. Alright, so now we have it done over here, and we can, again, save as image. This one's 01 for the helmet. You might want to name those if you so desire. But, got the texturing done. So now we can start doing the materials. We can close that off now. Well, hold up, let's leave that open for the node editor. So we're going to switch to Cycles Render. We're going to be using Cycles for this. And now we can open up our node editor. Let's quick save our project. And what I'm going to do now is add in a few lights to kind of see these scratches and reflections coming off of it. Okay, so first we'll want to open up our environment map. So go to your world settings, use nodes, and I'm just going to use an HDR here for some cool reflections that you'll see in his glossy helmet. So this is going to be an environment texture. Click that button, environment texture, and open up. This will be Old Industrial Hall. I'll put a link to where you can download it. And I'm going to choose the, let me see here. I guess I have to go JPEG, or I could go EXR. I guess we don't have a pure HDR in this file, but that's no big deal. We can go, I think, this one. I think that'll work. All right, we'll go that one. It's just for reflections, so we don't really have to worry about it. If you hit number 5, you can see how it's laying out behind you. Just kind of cool. So it'll give you some sweet reflections. But I don't even want the background showing, so I'm going to choose transparent. Boom. No background showing. All right, now I don't want the intensity of this to be too much. Take it down to about 0.5. And I also want to kind of change the colors of it a little bit. So I'm going to go to my node editor here. Whoops, I want to switch out of texture paint now. Go to my node editor here, and you can see I have switched to my world settings here on bottom. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of tweak the colors of it a little bit. It'd be better actually if I leave it untransparent for now, just so I can see what it's looking like. Alright, so I'm going to throw in a, let me see, we can go with a hue saturation. And maybe change the hue a little bit. That's going reddish. A little bluer might look cool. I'll go 0.45. Alright. And we could put in a, let me see here, Rgb Curves. We could give it some blue here if we wanted. Just kind of tweaking it to be something cool. But that's fine. And then a little contrast. So let's open this up even more. And drop in a color brightness contrast. That's gamma. Brightness contrast. And crank the contrast up a little bit. Yeah. That looks sweet. So, we can turn transparent back on. And last but not least, let's first of all turn on sampling. Let's turn the preview up to 100. So we'll start to see a nicer, cleaner render in here. And secondly then, I want to go to my settings here. And color management, I'm going to choose the look. No, I'm going to choose the view to be film. That will give me some nice colors as well. So after you've done that, you're ready to start adding materials in. First of all, though, there's always a first of all, let's add in some lights. So for the lights, what I'm going to do, and what I did in my video, is kind of a red-blue coloration. So over here I had some blue, and over here I had some red. This is just basic emission planes, so I'm going to add in a plane, rotate it 90 degrees, and scale along the X or Z. Just kind of a panel. Alright, and the reason I'm setting up some of the render settings here is just because you need some lighting to be able to see what the scratches are looking like. So as long as we're setting some lighting up, we might as well set up what will look good for the final. So I'm just going to kind of set it up like that, like a panel. I'm going to give it a material. We'll name it blue. And this will be a bluish whitish. I'm going to change it from diffuse to emission. We have emission right here. And give it a bluish emission color. Something about 8 or 10. We'll go 8. Will be cool. And let's give it 100% intensity there. Alright, so now I'm going to drop on a array modifier. We'll turn it to the x-axis here, or the y-axis, is it? They don't show the axis. I guess this is a y, though. And turn it to 0 there. And let's give it about a 3, actually. A 3 and crank a few of them up. So we'll take the count up a few times. Sweet. And we can kind of scale it down a little bit, too. And now we want to basically Shift D that. Scale along the Z -1. No, scale on the X -1. Can we flip that somehow? Well, we can basically flip it by rotating it one way and then rotating it the other way. Cool. And then we gotta kind of double tap it to rotate it up like that. Double tapping R, you get the trackball. Alright, now this material, I'm gonna hit the 2 there and basically change this one to be red. A sweet red color. Alright, so if I go to rendered view now, we'll have that kind of coloration coming on. And that's pretty sweet. It's what I'm looking for. Maybe just a little bit less blue and a little white would be kind of cool. Alright, and then I added some basic backlighting and front lighting then to kind of give the 3-pin lighting. So this is kind of fill lights. Then I want a backlight and a front light. So I'll just add a circle here. Let me go solid view so I can see it. Scale it up. Double tap R to rotate it towards our object. And tab into edit mode so you can hit F and fill it. This is going to be a basic white emission material. So go again to emission and we'll give this about a 6 intensity. And pull it up, rotate it, scale it down a little bit. Pull it away from that light just a little bit. Maybe pull it a little closer though. Alright, so what do we get from front view now? We get some of the white lighting coming in there as well. Maybe it's a little bit too big. These lights will have to be played around with a little bit. Something like that. And then I'm going to Shift D it, pull it in the back here. And you know what? I don't really like the circle so much as a square lighting, because you get some of those sharp edges then with the square lighting. So I'm going to go back to a plane and not use a circle for that. I'm sorry. I think a square would look cooler. We'll kind of continue with the panel look. Alright, rotate it like that. And we'll give it that emission material we made. Alright, then I'm going to Shift D it, pull it to the back, rotate it around, rotate it. And this is going to be kind of the back lighting here. Now, you might notice if you're going to do a render straight on that, well, you're getting the edge lighting, which is kind of cool. You can crank the light up even more. But the issue would be that you're not getting the, well, this one needs to be lower. The issue would be that you're seeing the light in the background. This one will be about a 4 in the background. And the front one here will be about a 6 or 7. And we'll make this a little blue. So what we're going to do to hide the light is basically just grab it and go into the object view here. And ray visibility, turn it off to the camera. So we don't see it, but it's still emitting the light back there. And if you're in solid view, obviously you see it back there. So that's how you do that. You might want to leave it off if you're still positioning it. But for now, I'm going to leave it. Okay, B. Let's start adding materials in now. We got the lighting set up and ready to go to materials. So we'll start with the helmet. Let's just select the helmet, go to our material settings here, and go use nodes. And we'll bring it up over here then by clicking back to our object for our object nodes. And we don't want a, well, I guess we want just a slight amount of diffuse. Now it's going to be mixed in with 2 different glossy shaders. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 mixed shaders in there. The first glossy shader is going to be a pretty harsh reflection. So that means not much roughness at all. We'll go 0.02 for now. And the second glossy shader will be a little bit more of an overall glossy. This will be about a 0.0 or 0.1, I should say. And then we'll give this about a 0.2 amount or 0.3 amount. We'll give this about 0.5. Fine for now. So if we go to rendered view, let's see what that's looking like. Very shiny, but that's kind of what we're going for, isn't it? And you can see that edge light coming in there nicely now. So let's change the colors and bring those textures in. All right, so we're going to be having our textures control the roughness. So let's go ahead. Well, first of all, let's turn the amounts of these glossy down a little bit. This is going to be a little overly high. We'll go 0.25 there, maybe 0.18 there. All right. So let's go ahead and bring in that texture. So we're going to go image or texture, image texture, and choose open. And this one is the helmet. So this is the first one we saved out. So it will be the one without the one on it. All right. So this is going to control the roughness. All right. And if we just right now, let me first drop in a color ramp here. Converter, color ramp. Drop that in there. Cool. If we just right now went rendered, you would see not much glossiness at all. And that is because, let me first enable an add-on here to show you guys. This add-on is called Efficiency Tools. Basically, it's called Node Wrangler, but it really speeds up how quickly you can do things with the node editor, because it's basically adding some of the same abilities that you have in the compositor into your node editor. So Node Wrangler right there, choose that, and now you can Control-Shift click onto one of your textures, and you'll see what it looks like hooked up to a viewer node, which is basically an emission shader. So basically gives you the viewer node look, and you can see what you're getting straight out of that texture. So it's really sweet. And I'm getting my texture there, but the blackness right now is only going to be the glossy, so we're not getting much glossy. Now I want to flip that, because I want the white to be the glossy and the black to be the scratches where it's not so glossy, or smudges, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to hit that little flip button there, and now basically we get it inverted. So our scratches are the white areas now. So that will be better. And now if you go to see what your node looks like, it's very glossy with some of those scratches over the top. So that's cool. Now I'm going to drop in a vector or converter math node, and I'm going to change this to multiply, and this will basically be this value here will be determining the amount. So I want this to be the harsh one, the one that has sharp reflections. So that means that I want it to be very low. So it's mostly black, which is going to be the harshest reflections. So I'm going to go 0.5. Now if you look at just that shader, pure glossy, beautiful. Mix a little bit of that in with our diffuse shader, we get some of the sharp glossiness, which is what we want. Now this one I don't want to be pure glossy, I want this to be more of the blurry glossy across the whole thing. So I'm going to duplicate this multiply and drop it into our second node here. Check it. It's very dark. And this one I'm going to crank up to about 0.35. So we get some of the scratches coming in, and we get some of the smudges, and this will be more for overall sheen, glossy. I also want this one to not have any straight black areas, because you see it's still very glossy in those black areas. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this color ramp. Boom. Duplicate this color ramp for this one. And I don't need that there. So this color ramp is for this one, the glossy one, and this color ramp is for the bottom one. And now I can basically take the whites up a little bit, or just make the blacks less black, which I might do. Just take the blacks here and make them a little less black, and now so it won't be so harsh of a glossy. When I go here, it's more of a blurry glossy, which is what I'm looking for. So you can kind of just adjust the amount of glossiness with the black here and the multiply. So now when I look at them combined, I have the glossy and the harsh, and that's what I'm looking for. Sweet. So now one more thing is going to be the color, obviously. Let's take the diffuse color down to a dark black looking color. There we go. Something like that is cool. And then let's add in a bump node. Vector bump. We'll be using this as our bump map. So let's just drag that into the height and connect the normals up and see what it looks like right off the bat. Never is going to look super great right off the bat, but okay, so basically the bump is inverted, I think. If I invert this, no. We need to take the strength way down. So let me see here though. I'm trying to see right here. There's nothing. So let me see what this is. That's pretty much pure white. So the white is nothing. The black is this. So that's what I want. I just don't want it so much. So I'm going to take the strength way down, and I'm going to take the distance down a bit too. Now you can see those scratches coming in, but much lighter. Let's take the distance down even more. Let's see what it's looking like. That's better. That's better. And then take the strength down to about a 0.08. And that's very subtile, but still too much. We'll go 6.06, or maybe even 5. And then we'll drop it into the bump on the diffuse and the bump on this glossy. And let's take the amount down even more. Cool. So we have a pretty sweet looking helmet with some scratches. Scratches are still too strong there. Go 0.3. And some glossy. So one other thing that I did just to take the color a little less pure color black is I added in a input texture, drop a texture in right here, image texture, and I gave it a, let me see, a converter vector mapping, and then you also have to add in a input texture coordinate to use the UV into the vector there. Okay, and then I opened up one of the grunge textures. Let me see here. We'll open up that one. Alright, so let me see what that's looking like. Grunge. Take the scale to 2 on both those, and that will basically scale it down. Okay. And now I'm going to, actually let's go all the way up to 3. Now I'm going to basically screen this onto this black. So I'm going to go a color mix. This is going to be that color, and this is going to be that color. And let me choose screen. Oops, screen. On that. And then take the color down or up. Not seeing any difference. Okay, that's because we have to switch these. Give this that color. Boom. And now we can turn the amount down. So just a little bit of the dirt there is going to be in the diffuse now when you drop it into the diffuse. So that just adds in a little bit more variation. When you look at your final textured material, you can adjust the amount of this if you want more or less. See what that looks like. Okay, it's a little bit brighter. And give yourself some kind of cool materials. Might be a little bit too much. So there you go. That's looking pretty sweet. Let's move on to the rest of the materials now. So this is going to be the main. Let's just name it main black glossy. And I'm going to use this for the face here too. So go use nodes, grab that main black glossy, and let's just see what it looks like right off the bat. Not too bad, actually. So I'm going to leave that for that portion of it, but I'm going to duplicate it. So hit the plus sign there, grab that texture, and then hit the 4 there. So it's now its own material. It's a duplicate. And this is going to be the glass. The glass, which is going to be his eyes. So for this, I'm going to not use the glossy texture here. Let's just delete that. Boom. And I don't need a diffuse either. So I can delete that, that, and that, and that, and that. This is going to be a shader glass. And this is going to be controlling the roughness still. Yes, it will be. And then I'll connect this. I don't need this mix shader anymore. I can go mixing it right into the glossy. And we'll see what that looks like. You won't see that anywhere actually, because you have to first select the eyeball. This is what I want to be glass, and assign it. So now that I assign the glass material to that vertices, when I go render, we should see a difference in the eye. And yes, we do. It looks okay. I think the overall face, though, the main glossy, is too much. So let's turn the amount up on this here. We have it 0.05. Let's turn it up to let's go 0.1. Okay, and then let's take this black just a little less than 100% black. To take that amount down just a tad. Right, maybe not even do that. Maybe just take the mix shader down here. Yeah, take that down a bit. We'll go down to about 0.08. All right, so back to the glass. We want to make this glossiness less. So that's what it looks like pure glass. Right there. And you get the sharp reflections coming in and stuff. So that's kind of cool. But I want a little bit of this glossy mixed into it. So we'll go 0.1. Okay, babe. And that doesn't look too bad. You get the harsher looking eyes. Alright. Not bad. We might tweak that material some more, but I'll leave it for now. And one other material I want to do is that same black glossy, but we'll make it its own again. And we'll name this one more of a flat. So glossy flat. And this will be for like the tubes here, which we don't want to be quite so glossy. So select those, assign it to that, and maybe these vents across his mouth too. And so now I can take the whatever is making it super shiny, this one here, and take the black up a little bit. Boom. So now it's not going to be quite so glossy on the tubes there. That's still too much. Let me take that up a bit. That still looks pretty reflective. Let's turn down the amount it's taking from here. And let's turn down the amount it's taking from here. I think that's helping. It looks pretty shiny to me still, though. Let me see if I assign that right. Select. Yeah, I did. Alright, so these are still just coming in a little shiny for my liking. So I might take the amounts down even more. We'll go 0.05. Look at rendered. Alright, so that's looking a little more flat now. Well, that one looks still kind of shiny. What if I took them all down? Is it still shiny? No, it's not. Alright, we just got to go down even more than we thought. Okay, a little bit there. And we'll go 5 there. Whoops, that's too much. 0.05. And we'll go 0.03. And that's looking much better. Alright, so basically we're almost done now. Just one more material. And that is, let me go solid view. The plastic on his nose, basically. It's white here, and this is kind of silver. So we're going to create kind of a silver material. This is just going to be kind of a basic. Well, here I can duplicate one of these again. Why not? We'll grab that flat, choose that one, and this one will be not. Delete that. This one will be white. Okay. So let's just select this mesh, give it that white, and then tab into edit mode on this mesh, grab that loose piece there, and assign it to the white as well. Alright. Now I'm going to take the color here, give it a white. And then I'll also take the glossiness, well, maybe I don't have to change that amount. We'll see what that looks like rendered. And that's actually pretty good. So, not bad. The one thing you might want to do is just duplicate the mix shader here and give it a slight amount of transparency because it's a little bit see-through on like his nose piece. So you can do that, give it a slight amount of transparency. But there you go. So our Darth Vader is looking pretty nasty, if I do say so myself. So one thing we might want to do now is the blacks look a little bit too harsh on our scene. So we could go to our lighting now. We don't even have to touch the materials anymore. We can go to our lighting. And first of all, let's turn the view up on that so it looks a little bit nicer. Alright. Yeah. That looks good. Turn the view up there a little bit too. And now we can go to our lighting tab here and take the gamma and exposure up a little bit. So I'll take the gamma, the exposure up to about 0.5, and maybe take the gamma to about a 0.12, or just a 0.1, just to give it a little lighter colored. And that's looking pretty sweet. So I think that will do it for the materials, guys. Next part will be the final rendering, setting it up with some sweet lights in the background and some glows and some shines and stuff like that. That'll do it for part 4, and I'll see you guys in part 3. Part 5. What am I saying? Part 3. I'm going backwards. I'll see you guys in part 5. Bye-bye.